Good evening, I'm Nicole Weisberg. This is CTV News at 5. Tonight, budget talks begin. City Council vows to lessen the impact of rising property taxes. How the province plans to push back against the federal government's gun buyback program. And reaction after the Forever Canadian petition campaign is successfully verified.
CTV Edmonton, local breaking news with Nicole Weisberg.
Budget talks are underway at City Hall, and City Council says it's focused on ways to reduce the proposed hike. Right now, property taxes could increase close to 6.5%. Cutting that is a challenging task in a growing and aging city. CTV's Jeremy Thompson has been listening to the discussion all day long and joins us live from City Hall with the latest. Jeremy?
Well, Nicole, councillors have been quick to remind us that 2026 is the final year of a four-year budget, which means they do have limited flexibility to add new spending or make cuts. Now, today's budget talks began with a presentation and some opening remarks from the city's chief financial officer, who had some words of warning for council.
Without spending discipline, the problems will compound. And I've already talked about the challenges of delivering services in a high-cost environment and the structural budget variances that we've been working to rectify. Fixing these issues means making real decisions about what services you want less of and honest conversations about how you'll fund new services.
City bureaucrats say the proposed 6.4% tax increase essentially amounts to treading water, maintaining existing services in the face of rising labor and material costs. That includes the basics like snow clearing, transit, police and fire services, recreation, waste collection, and more. There is a projected surplus for 2025. That $16 million will begin to refill the city's rainy day reserve, which council dipped into last year to minimize tax pain. Mayor Andrew Knack says refilling that reserve, plus accommodating population growth and renewing aging infrastructure, has put the city in a financial bind. Still, he says council is looking to maintain or lower next year's tax increase.
At the end of the day, we are looking to protect our core services. We are looking to create financial stability for the City of Edmonton's ongoing operations. There is a cost to doing that, as well as keeping up with our rapid population growth.
Council is expected to make changes to the budget as the week goes on, but at the proposed 6.4% increase, the average homeowner will pay an extra $230 in property taxes next year. Now, as I mentioned, this is just day one of budget talks here at City Hall, and Council is still just absorbing a lot of information from various presentations they've had about the budget. We do expect councillors to start proposing changes, which could be spending or cuts starting tomorrow. There is some movement and some good news for Edmontonians out of today here, though. Council did pass the utility budget today, which means for the second year in a row, your cost of having your garbage and other waste collected is going down. For next year, that'll save the average homeowner about $16. Nicole?
Thank you, Jeremy. The Forever Canadian petition to keep Alberta in Canada has passed Elections Alberta's verification process. Former Deputy Premier Thomas Ukazik needed to gather more than 293,000 signatures in 90 days under the Citizen Initiative Act. He ended up with more than 438,000. Nearly 14% of eligible Albertans signed the petition. The proposal will now be brought to the Legislative Assembly, where it will be referred to a committee within 10 days. If it goes to the Lieutenant Governor for a referendum, it must be held before the next provincial election in October 2027.
And now the real question arises, will the Premier do the right thing, or will she do the politically expedient thing? Our petition did not ask for a referendum. We purposely chose the legislative route, which gives her an opportunity to ask this question in the legislature and have all MLAs vote on it and put this issue to bed once and for all.
Justice Minister Mickey Amory congratulated the group for gathering so many signatures. He says caucus and cabinet will now discuss how to proceed under the legislation. A new commission that will oversee all complaints made against police in Alberta is now operational. The Police Review Commission will investigate public complaints related to police conduct, including serious offences. The province says it will be a more transparent and accountable process than what currently exists. The Alberta Serious Incident Response Team, which investigates any death or injuries involving police, will continue its work under this commission.
By creating this independent, civilian-led body, we're setting a new standard, one that puts fairness and integrity at the heart of the law enforcement in Alberta.
The commission is mandated to complete investigations within 180 days. Complaints can be filed online at albertaprc.ca. A jury trial started today for a Beaumont man accused of killing his girlfriend. She disappeared in July 2023, and her body was found 10 days later. CTV's Amanda Anderson has the latest from the law courts in Wetaskiwin.
A second-floor courtroom was packed first thing this morning as a jury was selected for a second-degree murder trial. The process took about an hour. Kenneth Skelly is accused of killing his girlfriend, Teresa Oberle. The 40-year-old mother disappeared from Beaumont in July of 2023. Her body was found near Whitecourt 10 days later. 7 men and 5 women were selected for the jury. They made a brief appearance in the courtroom to be told the trial will officially start tomorrow. Kenneth's trial is scheduled for 2 weeks. Amanda Anderson, CTV News, Wetaskiwin.
The Alberta government is pushing back on the federal government's gun buyback program and other federal gun laws. During the UCP's annual general meeting over the weekend, Danielle Smith said her government will introduce a motion to defy the program in the legislature this week. If passed, Smith says the province will instruct all provincial entities, including police agencies, to refuse to enforce or prosecute under the federal gun seizure program. It will also include protecting one's property from intruders. Alberta's Minister of Public Safety says Albertans have a right to defend themselves. However, he was cautious about the Premier's approach.
We do not direct law enforcement. I was there. I know what the Premier said, but I have to be clear. We do not direct law enforcement. What we do, though, is set priorities. And I can tell you that lawful firearms owners are not the problem within not just the province of Alberta, but within Canada.
The province is expected to release more details tomorrow. A low that takes up the entire width of the highway is now out of Edmonton and will continue its journey to the Fort Saskatchewan area tomorrow. The 870,000-kilogram caustic wash tower, is currently parked on the side of Highway 14 near Highway 21. It was moved here overnight from the Dacro site in South Edmonton. Its journey to the Dow Chemicals site will continue tomorrow morning starting at 7. The province says it will go a maximum 30 kilometers an hour and occasionally travel against the flow of traffic, so lanes will be blocked off. Tomorrow's route will continue down Highway 14 east until just after Toefield, when it will head north on Highway 834 and then west on Highway 15 to Range Road 220, then turn north, then west into the Dow site. Also happening tomorrow, a smaller but still very large load will start its journey from Lloydminster to the Fort McMurray area. The 263,000-kilogram water tank will spend much of the trip on Highway 63 in the evening hours and will reach its final destination on Friday. And Josh is here with our first look at the weather. It felt like a bit of a reprieve today from what we've seen in the last few days.
Yeah, temperatures started to warm up a little bit yesterday. We got back to -4, and today back above 0 after a cold end to last week. It's 2 degrees downtown Edmonton right now. You get some 1s and 2s outside the city as well, and fairly light wind. The downside today was the rain and freezing rain that we had pushed through the Edmonton area early in the afternoon. That freezing rain warning ended fairly quickly as it sort of started to snow, flipped over to some rain and freezing rain, and then has now moved off to the east of us. But roads could be awfully slick through the course of the day tomorrow as temperatures will drop back below 0. It's -11 for a morning low today. 2 degrees puts us 5 degrees above average through this afternoon. And there's the precipitation now way off to the east and northeast of the Edmonton area. You can see that little bit that pushed through the Edmonton area earlier in the day today. There's a low pressure system across the north, and so as that drops off to the southeast, we'll get a cold front slicing through overnight tonight, and that means temperatures tomorrow go in reverse. Instead of warming up through the day, we'll cool off through the day, and we may actually see a little more wet snow overnight tonight and into early tomorrow morning. -2 tomorrow morning, falling to about -6 by mid-afternoon. We're back above zero, though, it looks like, for Wednesday and Thursday. So we'll show you that roller coaster temperature trend in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Josh. Coming up next, despite a pipeline deal with Alberta, the separatist sentiment still strong at the UCP annual general meeting.
And if we were already an independent country, as an example, I think we would be further ahead.
Help us build a mountain of toys. Donate today at ctvedmonton.ca. Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
You're watching CTV News at 5.
Members of the United Conservative Party have had a chance to digest Alberta's new deal with Ottawa for a potential pipeline. The Premier says this puts the province in a better position in Canada. However, some members still think separating is the best path. CTV's Connor Hogg has more.
How many of all of us favor a free and independent Alberta?
Despite Danielle Smith's deal with Ottawa, many members of her United Conservative Party are still hesitant to trust the federal government.
And if we were already an independent country, as an example, I think we would be further ahead than waiting for Ottawa in 2040.
We gotta look at saving Alberta and doing what we have to do to save it.
The question of independence is looming large over this UCP AGM. This document is being passed around by candidates to the UCP board, showing a clear line between those who are pro-party establishment and those who are pro-independence. Separatist sentiment not having gone away even after Smith's deal with Ottawa.
I know that there is a lot of frustration on the part of Albertans, and that's been expressed at our AGMs, but I also said that the way to solve these kinds of issues where you've got polar opposite views is through things like citizen-initiated referenda.
A difference of opinion remains fundamental to the party, says those we spoke to.
I think there's always questions within a healthy party on the different directions that we can go, and such questions are good for the party.
There's going to be times where not everyone's going to be happy, but we're going to move forward.
I think it's a healthy outpouring, and it will just make the Premier stronger in her mandate going forward.
Party constituents voted on 36 policy resolutions. There was a mixed reception to a resolution on expanding Albertans' right to defend themselves and their property, but strong support for resolutions calling for the removal of fluoride from community water and ending public funding for third trimester abortions. As well, several environmental proposals that contradict the federal MOU found some support. Connor Hogg, CTV News, Edmonton.
The Alberta Federation of Labour is clearing the record regarding MLA recall petitions. The Premier has said on several occasions the petitions are a distraction and organized by either unions or AFL's leader. After teachers were forced back to work, Gil McGowan had said unions would use recalls to help topple the government.
We discovered quickly that we didn't have to organize any of these campaigns because ordinary Albertans were doing it themselves. So this is the important point. What's happening with recall campaigns around the province is a grassroots brush fire.
CTV News asked if the Premier still stands by her comments unions are behind the recall petitions. A spokesperson for the Minister of Justice responded by saying the provincial government has been clear the Recall Act should not be weaponized to trigger a new election. There are now 14 approved petitions for UCP MLAs. Well, the city is reminding transit users when 2025 ends, so does the use of paper tickets. Tickets with an expiry date of December 31st, 2023 and family or day passes with a 2024 expiration date will no longer be accepted. Transit riders can pay with ARC cards, ARC tickets, or cash. Starting January, the orange paper ticket validators will be removed from LRT stops. They'll be replaced with additional ARC validators. After the break, a call to action for people to educate themselves about HIV.
To see people and not the virus.
Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
A little more comfortable in their community and have a little fun, because it's always lovely to get out in the middle of winter.
White Avenue is all lit up for the holidays. Old Strathcona Business Association flipped the switch Saturday night. Among the twinkling lights were street performances and a winter clothing drive for the Mustard Seed. Live music was emceed by Mrs. Claus and the Grinch. This year also featured cultural teachings from the Bent Arrow Traditional Healing Society. December 1st, it's really feeling like December now.
Yeah, after that little bit of snow and the colder temperatures late last week. Listen, it's going to get cold again Friday, Saturday, but it doesn't last for more than 2 or 3 days. I think next weekend plays out a lot like this past weekend. We'll get to that in a moment. First, there's a look outside right now with the River Valley Skycam. It's brought to you by Action Furnace. Fixed right or it's free. 2 degrees, 5 degrees warmer than average today, back above the freezing mark. It's 1 in Red Deer, 1 in Jasper, 4 in Grand Prairie. It was 5 degrees an hour ago in Grand Prairie, but you can see some cooler air here across the east and northeast, and that's where the bulk of the cold air over the next 24 hours will be. There's an Arctic high pressure system that's going to drop in. You've got snow falling in northeastern Alberta right now on the northern edge of this area of low pressure. South of that, you had that warm air being shoved in. But behind this, some of that cooler air drives its way in from the north through the course of the day tomorrow. Along the cold front, we get a chance of some flurries or some light snow after midnight. So early tomorrow morning, I think by the time we get to 8 or 9 a.m., most, if not all of that, has pushed off to the south of the Edmonton area. And you can see this cold flow that comes in with this Arctic high, but mainly impacting eastern portions of Alberta as well as Saskatchewan. It'll be a glancing blow where you just get some clouds, mild temperatures, and some more snow in the west. There's another low pressure system. Today's was the first of a series. We could see 4 low pressure systems over the course of the next 4 or 5 days, and all will bring at least a chance of some snow. This one, as it moves across the north, once again brings back the warm temperatures for Wednesday. So after temperatures fall through the day tomorrow, we're back to around or slightly above zero Wednesday, but late in the day could see a little more snow. Temperatures tomorrow morning around -4 in Grand Prairie, -1 in Red Deer, Fort McMurray at -14. Fort McMurray will drop to about -17 by the afternoon. Grand Prairie cools off through the day, about -7 by tomorrow. These are your 4, 5 p.m. temperatures, about -14 in Cold Lake. Edson, Jasper, as we said, western parts of the province will be spared the coldest air. You're still only a couple of degrees below zero. Lloydminster's at -13 by tomorrow afternoon, though. And Red Deer, after starting the day just slightly below zero, by mid to late afternoon, you're in the -6 range. And that's the pattern for us here in Edmonton as well. We're around or just slightly above zero right through this evening with cloudy skies. After midnight into early tomorrow morning, you get a chance of some flurries or light snow. And look at that drop. By lunchtime, handful of degrees below zero. By 6 p.m., we're about -8 or -9. Speaking of tomorrow, it is Giving Tuesday, and we want you to help support CTV's Toy Mountain. We'll be down at Trail Appliances South for both your morning, Edmonton, tomorrow morning, and I'll be there at 5 and 6. Bring a new unwrapped toy or a cash donation for Toy Mountain, and you could potentially win a Whirlpool washer and dryer unit valued at $3,000. So we'll see you there tomorrow. Temperatures will be on the cool side tomorrow afternoon, and roads are probably going to be a little slick after they were sloppy and wet today. That'll all freeze over through tomorrow, and then it'll get sloppy again Wednesday, Thursday as it warms back up.
Thank you, Josh. HIV Edmonton and local community groups are marking World AIDS Day with a call to action.
We want people to come out to learn more, to get tested, to know their status, and to also end the stigma, to see people and not the virus.
HIV Edmonton hosted an open house with free testing today. New data released by the Public Health Agency of Canada shows in 2024 there were 1,826 new HIV diagnoses, excluding Quebec. That marks a small decline in the national rate. Ottawa says the virus still remains a concern in Canada, with disproportionately impacting people felt among populations experiencing health and social inequities. When we return, a local curler making a 4th trip to the Olympics with his eyes on the top prize.
We didn't just build this team to win the Olympic trials. We tried to build this team to win an Olympic gold medal.
Tuesday on your morning, we begin a day of giving, and you can take part by helping us build our toy mountain. Plus, we're counting down the best songs of the holidays. Have your say on the text line. We'll see you tomorrow.
Help us build a mountain of toys. Donate today at ctvedmonton.ca.
The Edmonton Oilers have returned from the road and are set to start a lengthy homestand. The team defeated Seattle Saturday night, riding the return of forward Ryan Nugent-Hopkins to victory. The Oilers have been criticized for playing with low energy in recent losses. Today, head coach Chris Knobloch spoke about the difference in the team's play against the Kraken.
I also like our players' engagement. They were a little bit fired up, and we took some more penalties than we would like to, but there was a lot of energy and a lot of togetherness on the bench and on the ice, which I think is very important to play an entire season.
The Oilers host the Minnesota Wild tomorrow night. It was an exciting weekend for curling fans as the Canadian Olympic curling trials came to an end. The teams of Brad Jacobs and Rachel Homan will represent Team Canada at the Olympics in February. CTV's Merrick Takash spoke with a member of Team Jacobs who calls St. Albert home.
Another trophy on the shelf for Mark Kennedy. The St. Albert native is fresh off helping Team Jacobs clinch a spot at the Winter Olympics in February.
We didn't just build this team to win the Olympic trials. We tried to build this team to win an Olympic gold medal. So this was another step in that direction, and we'll try to play that well when we get to Cortina and try to bring it home.
Kennedy calls the St. Albert Curling Club home.
So exciting to have him come out of the St. Albert Curling Club as a junior, as an ambassador for our club, as he competes internationally.
This will be Kennedy's fourth time wearing the maple leaf at the Winter Olympics. Brian Coops has watched every one of Kennedy's Olympic appearances. He joined the club back in 1968.
To have the privilege of watching him grow up, he was in our Little Rock program here. He was on my high school team, and then he played with his dad, and we played against him for years with his dad, and then they got his dad to coach full-time.
Kennedy continues to help out the juniors at the St. Albert Curling Club.
Teaches them how to sweep, talks about how to manage rocks, spends time with all of them, learns their names. He's really fantastic at just being very approachable.
Kennedy has 2 months to prepare for the games, where he hopes to add another medal to his trophy case. Merrick Takash, CTV News, St. Albert.
And that is our show for tonight. Thank you so much for watching. CTV National News is next.